what actually we went through. Swami Vivekananda is not a person, he's a force. He's a force that not only one who realized, but also wanted everyone to realize. That comes in his every day right from his young age. When his father Vishwanatha Datta had his friends come and discuss on certain levels of knowledge, even in law and society and all that, young Vivekananda as a boy was sitting, and the father Vishwanatha Datta made him to congregate with his friends, so you can see the age difference. Even at that young age, when they were discussing, these adults, if there was some question of confusion or lack of clarity, immediately Vivekananda as a young boy used to say, no, that is not correct. So this fearlessness for searching for truth is a very, very important thing. This is the spirit of the Rishis of India, the Rishis of Sanatana Dharma. Because every human being is divine. There is no question about that. And Rishis kept on, Amritasya Putraha. There is immortality within. So this Vivekananda, who manifested as an avatar Purusha that we know, that he was right from the beginning. Then as you went into college, he was always questioning his teacher. In fact, one of his professors identified this Vivekananda that he told right at that time itself, this boy knows more philosophy and more knowledge than professors in Germany combined. As a young boy, he was radiating. How did that happen? Because not only he was gifted, but he was working very hard. He was seeking knowledge all the time, after knowledge. Because knowledge, when it is combined with the devotion and the work ethic, automatically that radiates through this person. And that's what Vivekananda. And as an Narendra, of course, that was his first name. And even as we saw in the beautiful drama that was enacted, very beautifully done by our youngsters, they brought the essence of that Swami Vivekananda's meeting with Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He was very straightforward and he was seeking truth. He said, give me the truth, I will fall at your feet. If you don't give me the truth, then I'm not going to agree. So this harping on the truth, and that is the one that showed throughout, and in the meeting of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa that we saw. He tested Ramakrishna Paramahamsa many ways. In fact, once what happened, he put a coin under the bed of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa without telling. Because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a totally detached. And then when Ramakrishna Paramahamsa sat on the bed, suddenly he jumped. Because there was this money that was kept. That is the state of sadhana that he had achieved. And then Vivekananda, wow, this is it. So it is, the testing is a very important thing. Everything we have to test. We have to go through our intellectual x-rays that we call, and then we have to seek knowledge also. Once he saw the great knowledge and the greatness of Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananda became his disciple. And then afterwards, we saw in Swami Vivekananda's life the struggle. After Ramakrishna Paramahamsa left his body, the establishment of Ramakrishna Vivekananda mission, Ramakrishna mission, was not easy. For those who have read, tears will come. Vivekananda was such a great man that he respected everybody. Otherwise, it is impossible to build an organization with nothing. See, now everybody knows the mission, everybody knows about them. But remember, at that time, And our three youngsters who spoke in the end, so Karthik brought very nicely, and the Sangeeta and Renuka, they brought those struggles and the amount of knowledge that Vivekananda had. So we can see in the growth period, Vivekananda went to every one of his fellow brahmacharis, and then he said, "You do this, I will do this, he will do that." So they shared the responsibility. And then Master Mahashaya, when he wrote the Gospel of Ramakrishna, he had to introduce that publication. You know what he said? So beautiful. He said, the Mahendranath Gupta, the Mahashaya, the master who wrote the Gospel of Ramakrishna, he came to write about Ramakrishna, and I happened to speak about Ramakrishna. See, this is the kind of respect he had. It was not just coming from his lips, it was coming from his whole personality. So respect is not just in saying outwardly, it is feeling, and then that feeling has to come as words. And this was Swami Vivekananda. So many memorable events are there in his life. It needs several. Everyone can read these memorable events in his life. I'll just share one or two, just because it is so beautiful. And he kept on. He became very famous, as we know, when he came to the Parliament of Religion. At that time, of course, as we know, right on the Parliament of Religion to the stage, Perseverance, one of the actors spoke. There, his turn came. He said, "I want some more time. I want some more time." Because he was nervous. First time, you know. And he had already gone through struggle in this country. No food. Slept in the compartment, train compartments and all that. Those who have not read, please read some of those things. It's moving. And then finally they said, "Now you have to speak." And he spoke 7 minutes. And the first 6 words, "Brothers and sisters of America, dear brothers and sisters of America," the clap went on for several minutes, because the community at that time, the world community, had not heard this kind of expression. Again, as I said earlier, which was not coming from the intellectual expression. It was coming from the feeling of oneness, that Brahman is everywhere. And that 7 minutes he spoke, so beautiful. And he quoted in that the very famous shloka that every Hindu repeats, "Akashat paditam toyam, yatha gacchati sagaram, sarvadeva namaskara, keshavam pratigacchati." Like the rain comes and goes into the ocean, in a similar way, all the prostrations that we do, all the respect we show for any deity, everything goes to that oneness. So when we respect our fellow being, we are actually prostrating God. So he did that. Then, after all his fame, when he went back to India, so many thousands of people, as you know, he was taken in a chariot, pulled by human king himself, pulled a chariot. So when he came to the train station, there was one person who was staying very far away. And Vivekananda kept on shouting his name, "Come on, come on, you know, I am your Naren, I am your friend." Because this friend, who was his friend when he was a boy together, thought that Vivekananda is so famous, how, you know, I'm nobody, you know, that kind of thing. But immediately that friendship, so beautiful, I tell you. How many people will do that? How many people will have a thought like that? See, this is Vivekananda. Then one more incident. He met Rockefeller. I think many of you may know this incident in Chicago. So Rockefeller, everybody knew about Vivekananda. Then Rockefeller wanted to meet the senior Rockefeller. So he came and he met Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda told, "You know, you have worked very hard. You have, the Rockefeller said, there's something bothering me, what is your? He said, you have so much wealth, do some charity. Do some Ishwarapana, give it to charity. So then what happened, this Rockefeller said, what is this? I came for some, counseling, and he is saying give money. So he went back, and then after quite some time, again he came back to meet Swami Vivekananda. Then he said, you suggested on that day, you have to thank me. So he told Swami Vivekananda, you have to thank me because I'm giving to a charity. That makes some sense. Then Swami Vivekananda said, it's very nice, but you have to thank me. So the question is, this is the Veera Sannyasi. Veera Sannyasi. So that means that he would be very, very hard to speak, but the truth will remain. So this is Swami Vivekananda. As I said, there are so many beautiful events. It's kind of, we will all go into different world. So those who have not read about Vivekananda's details, please take some time and read. It's a beautiful one. Our youngsters did so beautiful. The musical. So Vivekananda was very, very fond of music. He had a great voice himself. Ramakattamam sir designed the play itself, they told. So he was a lover of music and art, and lover of culture, a lover of tradition, and he represented whole India. And last but not least, he was expert in Western philosophy. See, that is one thing that I think many of our Hindu youngsters should become, because knowledge. He was unparalleled in Western philosophy, in understanding of Western philosophy. That is how he was able to bring Vedanta as the thing, because when his lectures he used to give that thing. So it's a beautiful afternoon that we spent in remembering this great person, great personality, and may we all be inspired every day, every moment by this Vivekananda, Vivekaha Anandaha. That's all. Viveka is nothing but intelligence, deep intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and Ananda is spiritual bliss. So we should thank our Hindu temple and the leadership and Dr. Mysorekar and all the whole committee for doing this wonderful afternoon of remembering one of the great persons of the world.
I don't want to dilute the energy that has already been built up so much. I think it's been our tradition in this temple. Every year we remember this great individual who has had such enormous influence in the whole humanity. My personal feeling is Hinduism couldn't have come to this Western world but for Swami Vivekananda. We would not have had temples in this United States or anywhere in the Western world but for Swami Vivekananda. So it only makes it even more important for us not just to remember him, but read and read and read his teachings, because that gives us that strength and energy so that our youngsters can continue. My greatest ambition is his teachings have to really influence our youngsters. And he always says, I remember one word he used to say, he had such dependence on the youth of India, youth of India. You can rebuild India, you can rebuild India. It is the youth who must do it. And that's our ambition too here, because it is this youth who will take on the tradition of our great dharma through these temples, community service and so forth. Thank you all very, very much. And I take this opportunity to thank our wonderful MC, who did a marvelous job, although she arrived here just in the middle of the night. I'm sure still very sleepy, but she did very, very well. Abhirami.